Okay, so another quick little video over today's Guild League against Carnage. Mainly, seeing if you applied anything that was said from the previous video, which you did. But there are like a couple of things that I do need to point out, and we'll get to that later on in the video. So, here I'm just having us all start mid because I checked on their side of the map. They didn't have anybody at any of their mobs, so we could have started on their mobs, but I decided to have us start at a different position this time, which was mid. You can see on the map, there's somebody kind of on the top right. I think that's Linky. He should have been grouped up over here in the middle with us. Mainly just because to get buffs, because I didn't ask you guys to go to Guild Hall prior to entering to get, at least Agi and Bless before going in. So you can see there's just a small party. Nothing to really point out. At least you're pushing your AoEs up. So that's good. Here, everyone's pushing to the choke. I think you'll see Petty go off to the right. Yeah, he's heading towards their mobs. Actually, he didn't have to go there because they already secured it. And they didn't call for help. So, they don't really have a defense set up in this area over here. But you can see you're off on the side. You're looking for those openings to go and place your AoEs, which is good because you're avoiding the middle. Typically, you can see that's where they are placing their AoEs. You and I think it was Sled or maybe Petty. No, Sled. You guys were doing a good job of going off on the side here and placing your AoEs. As you can see, like right here, both of you are doing a good job of avoiding the AoEs here, but then coming up here and placing your AoEs onto them. So let's assume this is actually like it's a strong guild, right? And they have the AoEs right here, so we can't just easily walk in and push them back. In a situation like that, right? They'll have AoEs here. They might, maybe somebody here will start placing AoEs here if they see you guys walk to the spot and place AoEs on them. If their AoE doesn't hurt and you're not taking too much damage, you can continue to do that. But like if you stand here, say it's like a Helios Gravity, you die in one hit, or you take 2 hits and you're down to 10% HP. You can't really go and keep doing that. So the best thing that you can do is just make sure you stay out of their AoEs and just continue to cast your AoEs into the choke. And try to slowly push it if you can. Push it forward towards the front line if you can, without taking too much damage. But if you're taking constant like damage every time you go up and put AoEs, then you just have to chill, stay back in the stack, and just make sure your AoEs are at least going in the choke. Maybe try to put some AoEs here on the side so they don't try to leak out. But they're defending the choke, so they shouldn't really be pushing out here anyways. But in case, say we're defending, right? Put AoEs here. Maybe if you can't put AoEs up there, which you should, put at least some over here as well. Just to have this lane right here covered so they can't just walk through it without taking damage. You can see you guys did a good job of just staying out of the AoEs while still being able to cast onto them. I think Linky, yeah, that's Linky all the way up over here at that left choke point. So okay, right here, you're being aggressive. You are pushing your AoEs forward. I think you go somewhere over here. I don't know if it's okay. It's coming up. So right here, a little too deep, a little too aggressive. It's fine right now because I did tell you to play aggressive last game, and I just went to see if you can be able to play aggressive, which you can. But eventually, when this is a stronger guild, if you go out far like that, so you can see our stack is right here, and then you're pushed out all the way over here. If you die, I might not be able to go up over there and res you. And so this is what we call an overextension. Kind of like, so if you've been reading the guild announcements that Fatty's been posting after, there's one over after the last guild league. One of the points he brought out was overextension. And so this is what overextension is when you position yourself out this far, they might start dropping AoEs right here. So let me see. I mean, I can't see how many people they have up here. They might, so their main stack might be here. They might have 2 or 3 parties regrouping from the top right over here. And so if they have those reinforcements and they kill everyone here, they're going to continue to push their AoEs downwards to us. And so I won't be able to go and res you because then I will have to walk into the enemy AoEs, which might end up killing me. So I mean, it's nice to see that you're playing aggressive. I mean, this is a weak guild. You can play aggressive. They're not going to really do too much damage, but I don't want you to get into the habit of always just pushing out like this. Because you need to be able to read the situation to tell, okay, is it safe for me to be a little bit aggressive? If it's not, then I just stick with the stack. And you kind of constantly have to read our positioning, our stack, and their stack, and kind of decide, okay, can I push out or do I have to stay back? Can I push out? Can I stay back? And I like, so you'll see like right here from the previous one, right? So I walk up, I see their stack, I see our stack, I see their AoEs. Now I can quickly see that, okay, their AoEs are focused in this area right here. This area to the right is completely free and open. So I can position myself over here and drop AoEs onto them without taking any damage. And you can see that, so if I didn't pause this happened in like what, less than 1 second. We want to try to get you to that point where you can quickly assess the situation and then be able to make that quick decision that, okay, I need to go right here and then drop an AoE. So that's what I want to see you eventually do, to be able to quickly look at the situation and decide, do I need to be aggressive or do I need to just be passive? I mean, it's kind of hard to really point this out right now because we are fighting pretty weak competition on this server. So I don't know, maybe if I do other videos in the future, I'd probably have to use my WoW videos against Fusion because there's just, unless we do something different with Dynasty 2, we're not really going to get any kind of good practice here on map 2. Because like you can see, like it's just spawn camping. So there's nothing really to kind of point out and discuss. So I think that's most of what I need to say for this video. Is just, you did a good job of playing aggressive and pushing your AoEs forward. Now for like the future games, you need to be able to, first, I don't want you to be aggressive right at the start. I want you to kind of push to the front where all the action is, but be in the stack. You can drop one AoE between us and them, but while you're doing that, I want you to be able to kind of look at their positioning, look at where their AoEs are at, look off to the side and see, okay, can I quickly go off to the side and drop an AoE on them safely? Because that's something you're going to have to constantly do later on against these stronger guilds, is figure out, okay, is it safe enough for me to push up and drop an AoE? If not, then, to stay alive and keep AoEs between us and them. And also, be mindful of your positioning as well. So let's go back to that overextension. Because I do have to, I have to keep eyes on not only you, but 3 other people. And I can't control where these 3 other people can go. I mean, because, this isn't static parties here on the second map, so I can't constantly review footage and be able to tell these people next game, like, hey, I need you to stay a little bit further back or whatever, because we're probably not gonna party up with these three people next game. But at least with you, I know you'll always be in my party, so I can at least give you pointers of how you should be positioning. So if you're gonna push up, also make sure just be mindful of your teammates, the other two wizards. Try to stick kind of in the same area as them. That way, I don't have to say you're here and then somebody else is over here on the top left. Because think of it like ET, right? Right when we're fighting those MVPs, I always tell you stay on the same side as me and my wizard, because if you're on the opposite side, that's more distance for me to travel. And if I have to quickly res you, if you're too far away, there's gonna be that delay where I have to walk up and then res you, and that could actually end up in us wiping because I would have to I have to walk out on my safety wall to go res you. We don't want situations like that where you're just out of position. For the most part, I think yeah, everybody here was at least in the same area. Not like I think it's like last week, everybody was all over the place. Like two people were here, one person was in middle, the other one was on our side of the mobs, just kind of AFK. I mean, just to make things easier for me, try to stay close to, like, if you see we have other casters in our party, try to at least stay on the same side as them. You don't have to be like right next to them, but just kind of in the general area they were at. That way, if you guys all end up dying, I don't have to run all over the place just to res everyone. And I think so. What I'm gonna do for next Guild League is I'll actually increase your Quagmire level to 10, and then we'll try to work on your Quagmire placements for like right here. So let's get a better angle. So Quagmire placements, you would have one kind of just like right in front of their spawn, and then either one here or one over here. Just in case they push out, they're able to leak out. You want to be able to have it a little bit further out, so if they do get past the initial one, hopefully they'll get slowed by the secondary Quagmire you have a little further back. And then maybe try to weave in Napalm Vulcans if you see people running out. I mean, right now it's fine, you can just lightning bolt them, they'll probably die, but say we're defending a choke, it'd be better if you can slow them. Because your character, we're not upgrading the PvP feathers because you do have to spend money on those, and so eventually your lightning bolts won't be able to quickly kill people if they pass through. So it'd be better if you just slow them rather than try to kill them, and then just have somebody else in the back line clean them up. I think for next game, it's mainly just. Well, next one we're against Dynasty 3, so I guess for the next match we have against Dynasty 2, try to focus on. Try to focus on being able to read when you can be aggressive and when you shouldn't. I mean, I know our competition isn't strong, so you can pretty much play aggressive the whole time, but I want to see you now kind of try to be able to assess that situation. I mean, it might take you a little bit. It might take you some time to kind of go through that whole thought process, but eventually, it'll be like me right here where I get to the choke, I see there's an opening, and I just immediately go to that opening. I don't really have to spend too much time thinking about it. It just happens in an instant. I mean, eventually you'll probably get to that, you know, that quick thought process, but it's gonna just take some time. And the only way to do that is just, practicing it and just doing it all the time in game. And it'll just, it becomes second nature. So I think that should be it for this video, because I mean the rest of it's just spawn camping. Just because you know they recently had a split in Carnage, so most of their stronger players are already gone. And so that takes some of the people they had from map 2, they had to move them to map 1. Carnage might not even be here next week. They might all, at least like a majority of them probably might be in Dynasty. Maybe there'll be a Dynasty 4 in the future, we'll see. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what we can do for the next video, I guess.